My fiance says I don't make enough money, should I let her go? When my fiance smokes the leaf she gets talking and confesses things. Recently she quit her job because she no longer wants to work and says she isn't cut out for the working life. She has worked about 20% of the years I have been with her. She says she deserves to live like a princess and be financially supported. She told me that she doesn't see a future with me because I don't make enough money for us to be able to afford a dream house / get married / have children / buy things and travel on my income alone, and that she may have to start looking for someone else who can provide what she needs. Honestly, I don't think I can be butthurt about this, because it sounds like she is just being honest with me / herself, and I can't be all blah what about our love etc. when it's a real talk. We live in the real world and everything is so expensive these days. So, I actually respect the honesty. But the truth is that I don't know I have anything else left to give. I have already given everything I had saved financially over the years. I am in the process of actively looking for a career change that pays better, as I now have the work experience for upper management in my industry. But I worry that won't be enough. I work so much and I'm so tired all the time. She gets annoyed when I work too much, if I'm run down or not my normal upbeat self. I get told to do better, be better, that I hardly provide the bare minimum a boyfriend / future husband should. Between working, cleaning, washing, cooking, I feel like I hardly have time to even sleep. I never give up, I'm a fighter. But what if I can't be better and I have reached my limit and need to accept that I am simply just not good enough in this relationship dynamic? She sends me things on social media all the time of guys spending big on their partners and I can't afford the expense. I need to be careful with my money to pay our bills. I love her and want to give her the things she desires and wants. I always have. But at what point should I stop apologizing for my lacking and let her move on to better things? I feel like I am being selfish by not giving up and doing my best. I used to be proud of my never give up, do my best, work my hardest attitude, but now I'm wondering if it's a flaw. FYI, I make about $100K a year, looking to move up to about $150K once I land the new jobs I'm being interviewed for. Could $50K make the difference? It doesn't even seem like a lot of money. I feel like if I keep fighting for us without becoming rich, she would continue to stay with me and potentially resent me. Should I bow out so that she can find someone more suitable for her? Comment. I make under $100K / year, including vehicle allowance as I drive for my job with my own car and am a single dad of 3 kids full time, and I make it work. It's tight, but I make it work. She has really wild expectations. She brings nothing to the table but wants you to keep buying and filling larger tables. I've been in relationships like this, it never works out. Value yourself more and realize you deserve better. Just run. Don't look back. She may realize that in a decade or so, she was wrong, but she will be a distant memory by then. You're spending almost $2,500 on what exactly? Cut back on that, because clearly that number doesn't need to be that high for what you listed. Also, you're allowed to feel hurt by real talk. She wants you to subsidize her lifestyle, and for what? What do you get out of this? There's plenty of people out there who would be happy with you making half as much as you do. And it's likely they'd contribute to your life in a meaningful way. Too much for expenses. Downgrade your life and invest your money and stop worrying about what you have to do to impress her. With that income you can live a basic lifestyle and turn $100K a year to millions in 10 years or less. Then you won't have to worry about money and fuck whoever you want until you meet the one. Why would you want to be with someone who sees you as a blank check, not a person? No one wants to work. Everyone wants to live like a princess. But that's not a partner. What if you lose your job? Get sick? Burn out? She expects you to give 100% and she just takes. This isn't a relationship. You're a sugar daddy. She's being honest with you at least. Why would you ignore that? Not giving up isn't a good quality when something is hurting you. Don't give up on you. You deserve someone who wants to be with you, not use you. Leave her. I don't think you realize, but she's bought good enough for you. You're doing well and she is some loser who has barely worked and wants to be provided for like she's Kate Middleton. Try breaking up with her and I bet you she will backpedal, as her broke ass can't live without you and it's not easy to find another high-earning man. She needs to realize some high-earning men want similar high-earning women that elevate their financial status and not an ungrateful dependent who just takes and takes. You need to have some self-respect and know when to leave relationships where you are being used and do not serve you. So you're in a financially abusive relationship. And you still have to cook and clean? She isn't working, why can't she do that stuff? And she's upset you work too much while simultaneously being upset you don't have a higher salary. So there's no pleasing her is what I am hearing. And you're tired all the time from overworking. How does she help ease your load? Is she concerned with the stress on you? How is she helping you with this? What is she contributing to the relationship? Next story 2. My boyfriend is habitually late and I'm at my wit's end and blew up. Charlie and I met when I just graduated and started an internship where he worked. We loosely communicated, but didn't start dating until I moved into the same city a year later. He is mostly a considerate person, has a good job and we share the same religious beliefs. There is just one problem, he is always late, we're talking 5 to 15 minutes on average but times when he's really late 30 plus. At first, I didn't want to make a big deal of it, I was always there on time or early and sitting around and waiting for him, but it seemed like I'd be overreacting if I said something since he was usually just a little bit late so I bit my tongue. Over time, I started getting a little bit more annoyed so I'd always send him text reminders to start getting ready and texted him did you leave yet to make sure he'd get there on time and I wouldn't just be twiddling my thumbs on my phone waiting for him again. Even with these reminders, he was his usual 10 minutes late. He's met my parents a few times now, as they live in a different state and my parents were flying in for the weekend and wanted to have dinner for us. Our family is always punctual, he was late the previous times and while they didn't say anything, I know they were annoyed. This time, I told him I would pick him up and drive him, we had a reservation at 7:30 p.m. and that I wanted to get there 15 minutes early in case there was any traffic and if we waited a little it wouldn't be a big deal. He agreed. I drove to his place at 6:45 to help him get ready and when I got there, he opened the door and rushed back to the TV as he was on a Discord chat with his friends and they were watching the end of a sports game and I was more than furious, he hadn't even begun getting ready and it was going to take us 30 minutes to get there. I asked him to get off the call and to get ready now and he said, it's almost over, there is a couple minutes left then I'll get ready. We will barely be late if late at all, it's not a big deal. I don't know what got over me, I'm usually non-confrontational, but I left and slammed the door and just left. I feel disrespected and he's been blowing up my phone saying that I'm overreacting given that I know he's always late and it's never a big deal. I want to end things, but think I might just be overreacting here. Comment. You're completely justified in feeling how you feel. Some people would be angrier than you about it, others wouldn't care. That's great for them and their individual choices. Your individual choice is this is a deal breaker, and clearly demonstrative of a core incompatibility, it's become a deal breaker for you whereas he thinks it's not a big deal at all. If you want, you can talk to him one last time to be crystal clear that his chronic tardiness is disrespectful to you, and see how he reacts to the come to Jesus moment. Does he commit to changing an actual change, or does he stick to his guns? He doesn't get to decide how respected you do or don't feel. Is he late to meetings at work? Is he blowing deadlines there? Does he keep his boss or team or customers waiting for as long as he keeps you waiting? If yes, then he has a deeply instilled habit to overcome and he shouldn't be wasting your time, too. If no, then why is he on time in some instances, but he's hardly ever on time for you? Oh, because he would have to face consequences for being late at work or other places, but he thinks there are no, or should be no, consequences for being late with you. If you're dating for keeps, for a long-term relationship, for potential marriage and kids, your partner can't be this chronically late. On top of the problems it causes just for you, it's not okay for him to be 30 minutes late picking up a kid from daycare or school, or causing them to miss a doctor's appointment or extracurricular activity. Just because he can't manage his time or he just has to play that video game raid with his friends. But it is a big deal to you. You need to tell him that you are done with him being inconsiderate by being late all the time. Tell him that from now on, if he's not ready when he's supposed to be then you are leaving without him. And do exactly that. If that doesn't light a fire under his butt, then break up with him. It's just rude. It's also a power play and passive aggressive. And shows you that you are pretty low on his list of priorities. Have you actually told him this is an issue to you? It sounds like you keep trying to nudge him toward being on time or saying it's not a big deal, but unless I missed it, you didn't articulate whether you told him this bothers you. Personally, I find being late like that disrespectful, so I don't think that you leaving was an overreaction at all, I think that was fair. It's unclear from your post though, Have you ever directly told him, "I find being late unacceptable and it matters to me that you are on time"? You should have talked earlier about his chronic inability to be on time and how annoying it is. But it probably wouldn't have made a difference. He's okay with making you and everyone else wait on him. It's best to break up. He will not become more responsible.